All right, so this is part 3, and it's the last part on covalent bonds, and we're going to talk about how we name covalent compounds. So with naming covalent compounds, they're a little different because because of those individual units versus like ionic compounds where they're in that fixed ratio. So with covalent bonds, the amount of each element matters. So in naming, we have to say how many there are. So for example, right, like, sorry, my pen wasn't working. Like nitrogen and oxygen can be in a lot of different ratios. This is just a few of them. So we need to keep that in mind with naming because there's so many different ways these covalent bonds or the same elements can bond together in a covalent compound. So that's why we need to say how many there are. We use prefixes to do this, and these are the prefixes. A lot of them are really similar to what you might have seen in your math classes. The ones that are probably not. 1 is mono, 2 is di, 3 is tri, like you've heard, 4 is tetra, and then it gets more into like the normal ones. So penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, deca. So those are the prefixes there. These should be in the Quizlet for this unit. So how we name with these, we put a less electronegative element first. So that's usually what's given to you. So like when you get like, notice how I was writing like NO, N2O4, I was always putting the nitrogen in front because it's the less electronegative element. This one only gets a prefix if there's more than one of that element and the ending doesn't change. So for example, NO, the nitrogen wouldn't get a prefix there, but N2O4, that nitrogen would get a prefix. The second element, the name always goes as the prefix, the root name, and then "ide." So even if there's only one, you give a prefix now. The only time you don't do a prefix is with the first element, and that's if it's only one of them. As a note, sometimes we drop the O or A at the end of the prefix when the word following the prefix begins with another vowel, just to make it sound better. So like monoxide sounds better than monooxide, pentoxide versus pentaoxide, but it really is just what sounds best. I'm not going to mark you off if you write pentaoxide or tetraoxide, so just use what sounds best for you. All right, so let's try this one out. So our first element is phosphorus, so that's our less electronegative element, and we have 4 of them, so we do want to give the prefix. So it's going to be tetraphosphorus because 4 means tetra. Then we do it for oxygen. We always give the prefix now, and then we're going to do the root name and then ide. So 10 is deca, and then we have ox, and so it's decaoxide. And then we just bring it together. So it's tetraphosphorus decoxide. All right, so let's have you give this a try here, going from first the name of the compound going from the formula to the name and then the name to the formula. All right, so let's do that together. So SO3, S is sulfur, and there's just one of them, so we just say sulfur. Then we have 3 oxygens, so it'd be trioxide. All right, ICl3. Notice the difference between the I and the L there. So I is iodine. 3 again is tri, and it's chloride. All right, Br5. P is phosphorus. Five is penta, so it'd be pentabromide. Okay, so then going the other way, so now we have the name, we want to go to formulas. So we have carbon, so that's just C, and we just have one of them. Tetra is 4, and we have iodide, so it's Ci4. Phosphorus trichloride, that's going to be PCl3. Dinitrogen trioxide, di means 2, so that's N2, and then tri means 3, N2O3. So hopefully you got those. All right. Now with covalent networks, they They get a formula of the simplest ratio, just like ionic compounds, but we need to name them like a molecular compound, again, because we might have some different ratios in other situations. So, for example, SiC is silicon monocarbide. All right, now give these a try here. All right, so you should have gotten for SiO2, silicon dioxide. That's what's used in solar panels. Okay, then Si3N4 is tri-silicon tetranitride. All right. So same naming, it's just the fact that we put it into the simplest ratio. All right, acids. So there's two types of acids that we deal with. Remember, though, acids are always going to have a hydrogen in them. So it'll be, and we usually list that hydrogen first. So that's your sign. The one exception would be water. So just going to be aware, like H2O is not an acid. So that's the one exception to kind of like put the hydrogen in front for an acid. All right. So we have binary acids, and these are two elements. It's going to typically be hydrogen and one of the halogens. The way that we name them is we say hydro, referring to that hydrogen, the root name of the other element, and then ic acid. So for example, if we have HCl, we're going to say hydrochloric, the chlor referring to the chlorine, acid. All right, give this a try with HF. All right, you should have gotten hydrofluoric acid. Okay. Then the other type of acid we have are oxyacids, and these are these are acids that have hydrogen, oxygen, and then another element. They're usually going to be made up of one of the polyatomic ions along with hydrogen. So that'll be one of your signs that you see it. So with the naming of them, we do not put hydro in front. That's our sign that we have an oxyacid just based on naming. So no hydro in front with oxyacids. It's only with binary acids that we do that hydro. And so it's one of the ways that we indicate what it is. So we just do the root name of the polyatomic ion, ic acid. So for HNO3, NO3 is nitrate. So we say nitric acid. All right, so let's have you give this a try with H2SO4. You should have gotten sulfuric acid. And I write it, I know like you might be like, oh, root, sulf. Sulfuric is like one of the ones where you just give the full name. It just sounds better. So you'll get more used to it the more you use it. But the root name thing is just kind of like the general rule. Sometimes we break the rules. So that is naming of covalent compounds.